Howdy y'all, my name is Brent Hefferton, Mistrunner, told with the Mistrunner tribe, and today I want to talk to y'all about Freya Hardmode. Freya is the boss in Ulduar in the Conservatory of Life. There are a bunch of different trash packs in the room and you can skip quite a few of them. Just kind of taking a glance at this room, there's some packs up here on this side of the river that we did not clear. There's another pack over here in this pocket corner, and then there's some packs up here that we also skipped. So the way that we're pulling the boss is back toward the entrance to this room. And then we're just going to tank her kind of in this general vicinity. That way we don't have to do all that trash. So the first phase of Freya, she's just healing a whole bunch. So it's all about management of the different adds that she spawns. If you don't kill the keepers, then they become invulnerable during this boss fight. And they give her different powers and abilities and stuff that affects the fight. So the one that you see here is this big old treant. She summons a big treant and you have to fight under the mushrooms to be able to cast any abilities. So this is probably the one that you as the tank might die on the most, because your healers could be silenced and you also can't pop a defensive ability even if you could pop a defensive trinket. So a couple things just for your checklist here. Whenever you pull the boss, make sure you Iron Shield before you pull, or Indestructible Potion is what it's called nowadays. Indestructible Potion to start the pull so that you can use that again during the fight. And then just thinking about using your defensive trinket if you wanted to whenever the trinket guy comes out. This Detonating Lasher pack is another one of the types of packs, and generally everyone's going to want to stack them up, do a bunch of AoE, and then when they're low, have a Moonkin or a Mages do a knockback, and then kill them while everyone is far away from them. These Detonating Lashers, as the name suggests, detonate when they die. So you want to make sure everyone steers clear of those. And remember, you don't need to be in a rush to kill those adds. It's more important to stay alive. Staying alive is the key thing here through all the phases. It's a very long fight. You've got all these different waves of adds. This other one is a Water Spirit, a Storm Spirit, and a Lasher. So generally speaking, as the main tank, I will tank the Storm and the Water. And I try to interrupt those. I try to pull them out of the sunbeams. I try to make sure they all have threat, and you want to kill these three at the same time. Otherwise, they'll resurrect each other. So we're getting them low. We have a Death Knight tank the Lasher, because that one hits really hard. So they just do chains of ice and run around and make sure they keep threat on it. Damage to Freya, as you can see with their health, during the first phase of all these adds, it really doesn't matter. You do want to have some threat on the boss, but if you can see the threat meter over here, you're just way ahead if you're just hitting Revenge and cleaving it and thunderclapping the boss and stuff like that. Vigilance, I think I have on someone this fight. I should have had it on a Boomkin maybe. Oh no, I have it on a Ret Paladin because they do a bunch of DPS. That's good. So anytime we get this, just stack them up with Freya and be ready to move out. There's an ability called Nature's Fury. If you get Nature's Fury, you deal nature damage around. You see that electrical person right here? They had to run out because they had Nature's Fury, and you don't want to AoE your friends. The light beams, you want to make sure you don't stand in those. They hurt pretty bad. You see those iron roots? You need to break people out of those. It's just a thing you can tab target and attack, or you can AoE those. We tell the raid to all stack on star. You can see the star icon here for AoEing these down. I'm thunderclapping these. If you have a sapper, you can sapper. And then I like to throw a shockwave as they're getting kind of low, just to stun them in place. So watch this, shockwave. Now they're all stunned. And then the raid can do a knockback. And just run away from those. Make sure you're not next to them when they explode. If you are going to be next to a bunch of them exploding, you could hit Last Stand or Shield Wall. Freya herself doesn't really hit super hard as a boss, comparing her to a lot of the other bosses in Ulduar. Most of the damage this fight is about the AoE stuff that's going to be hurting your raiders. It's not really super heavy on the tanks themselves. For the tanks, it's going to be about, can you pick up the adds as soon as they spawn? Can you DPS them down correctly and without dealing AoE damage to the team? With stuff like the Detonate from the Lashers, This Snap Lasher thing that's got chains of ice on it, you don't really want to face tank that one if you can avoid it. Just have people build threat and then kite it around. And then make sure you've got interrupts on the Water Spirit and the Storm Spirit. And once again, the damage on Freya doesn't matter for this phase. Keeping Thunderclap up is always good, because that's going to reduce your damage taken over the course of the fight. Same thing with Demo Shout, or maybe you have Vindication for an attack power reduction from a Paladin or something. But I'm keeping up Commanding Shout, just tanking the boss. After we've killed a certain number of ads, now look, her health is going down finally. We just had to kill a bunch of different waves of this stuff. So we beat the Treant guy, we got the Detonating Lashers, we got the 3-pack, all those we took care of multiple times. And then now we can actually deal damage to Freya. And you see these little pods on the ground? You need to run away from those because they explode. See that? Boom, 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 boom. All that green stuff. Boom, boom, boom. You don't want to stand there. Oh, I should have mentioned that. You're supposed to kill these trees whenever they're up because they heal Freya a lot. So she dropped more pods there. Move it across the road. Our strat for dodging these is just to go across the road. Okay, so those exploded. Now I'm going to wait for more pods over here. I'm just doing my Heroic Strike, Devastate, Shield Slam, Thunderclap. There they are. They need to move. You do have a little bit of time. Okay, they explode. Great. I'm just using my defensive trinket here, just to reduce incoming damage. It's a long fight. Sometimes the healers are getting low on mana. We slapping it. Dealing pretty good damn here. Ground Tremor. The casters all need to be careful to not cast whenever that completes. And then whenever, that's another little thing with this fight, it zooms in your camera in kind of a weird way. You see this? Where it just zoomed me in as though there was a wall to my back. What happened there was she put a pod right behind me. So my camera got confused. That's a clue for you that the pods were just dropped and then you move. So if your camera does a weird thing on Freya, that was one of the pod drops, and you just need to go across the road if you're positioning it with this same one as we did. And then once the boss gets to 1 HP, she's down. Freya drops some good stuff. This is one of the maybe earlier hard modes that your guild might try to prog. It's definitely an endurance fight and a control fight, and it boils down to, can your raiders manage the ads without getting blowed up? Hope y'all found this guide useful. Remember, you want to hold threat on Freya, but the majority of the fight is about managing the different types of ads. You've got heckin' the 3 Lasher pack, which you want to get the Storm and the Water, and then have an off-tank kite, the Snap Lasher. For the Detonate ones, you want a Thunderclap, you want a Demo Shout, you want to Shockwave those, Sapper Charge, AoE them down, and then get the heck away while you do a pushback. And then for the big Keeper guy, you want to make sure that you're fighting on a mushroom so you can actually cast spells, and also be quick about using some kind of defensive whenever he's attacking you, because that's when your healers could be getting silenced. But overall, gear loadout wise, you could be wearing some threat-oriented stuff, and it's not a big deal for Freya if your healers can handle that. You can also just play it really safe if you want to. I would say use your best judgment and talk to your raid leader about how they want you to itemize for Freya. But Freya is definitely a technical fight. It's not a super hard-hitting fight, but definitely one that's about ad management and control. Anyways, hope y'all found this useful. From me, Brunt, ancestors watch over you, and best of luck in y'all's bis.